Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to give you an overview of the hill country of Texas.
And we have been making these videos since actually the beginning of October. We're going to be showing you in the next month and a half, 2 months, parks that we have visited. We plan to do fall. And you may be able to tell by the trees behind us, we're now actually, this is January.
Yes.
We're the first week of January, so we stretched this thing way out. We actually live in the hill country, so these parks are close by, and we weren't making one trip to hit them all.
Yeah.
But we started at Lost Maples, and that was just, we had been actually down at Davis Mountains, and where we had planned to stay didn't work out, and so Lost Maples is one you really need reservations for, and we had tried and tried.
Even for day use, you need reservations. And in the fall, I'll tell you, getting those reservations for overnight camping, they're 6 months out. So
we heard the ranger telling someone that, our park host, but what happened was because it was last minute, and we knew we weren't going to be there over a weekend.
Yes.
We decided, hey, let's look and see. We stayed there 3 nights. We did not, even though it was during the week,
yes,
just a random week, we could not get 3 nights in the same campsite, but we did get 1 night and then 2 nights. And it's beautiful. It was really
beautiful,
pretty.
Whether you see the fall colors or not. You could see some.
It was starting. It was
Yes.
barely starting, but it was starting. And then we also went to one of the prettiest parks, and we'd never been there before, was Guadalupe River State Park.
That was an amazing park.
And the river is not a circle. That one, north-south Llano River. Neither one of those rivers are in a circle. But
and the reason she says that is because in the summer, people either tube or raft or something down the river. It's not going to let you off at your starting point.
And some people don't. They're used to a lazy river at a water park, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, Guadalupe River was really pretty. It rained, I think, almost every day that we were there, but the colors were definitely changing.
And it did not stop us from riding our bikes. It wasn't a rain all day, every day, but it was enough so the trails were closed.
And they would open them gradually. They would open them for pedestrians because most of them are multi-use hike, bike, and equestrian trails. And so they opened them in stages.
And they didn't want bike ruts or horse hoof prints in on those trails when the dirt was
and it depended on the trail. If the trail had more gravel, etc. So when you see that video and you see us out on a trail, I want to let you know it was not blocked, it was not marked.
Yes.
So, but that was a gorgeous park. We went to the Hill Country Natural Area. We'd never been to a natural area, and that was a lot of fun. We stayed at an equestrian site, and it was shockingly full. I mean,
yes.
That was what really shocked me is it's not exactly on the beaten path to anywhere, and yet day use was heavy over the weekend.
Yes. I mean, Sharon told me, she told me, guess how many cars were down at the entrance to the equestrian area?
Because there's a big trailhead there.
And I said, 6. She said, 24. 24, they're pretty well packed in. I don't think you could have gotten the RV out.
Well, but anyway, and that was one parking area.
Yeah.
But this place has miles and miles and miles and miles of trails. That's what they have there. I will say this. I would not feel comfortable hiking there in the summer.
No.
This is rattlesnake country, and there was a sign at one point, beware of snakes. So you want to keep that in mind. But for fall, winter, early spring. It is gorgeous. It was a lot of fun, and man, lots of trails there.
And they seem to go out of their way to accommodate their guests. One Saturday afternoon, we had gone up to the headquarters, and across the way there was a ranger out with maybe 7 or 8 pelts. And she had it set up for 4 or 6 hours, and you could go over and feel what the animals feel like. She had a skunk and fox and rabbit and deer and lots of stuff. I mean, just great stuff for kids and for adults.
And they do have junior ranger stuff there as well. And so, like I said, we'd never been to one of the natural areas, and we were really impressed.
Now, were the equestrian sites the only sites that were not walk-in?
Yes, and the others, some of them were close to the road. Then there were some sites that you're hiking miles in, but that was a fun video. That was a fun place to visit. Another place the next place we went was South Llano River. We had been there before, but they're making some major renovations and they were working on building a new headquarters and all. That is, most of these in the hill country, you're gonna need reservations for.
Yes.
But the
hill country is close enough to Fort Worth, Dallas, and Austin that it gets a whole lot of traffic. Excuse me.
And we're going to go on and say this. We are telling you hill country based on terrain.
Yes.
Not necessarily the way that the Texas state parks divide it. But if you look in 6 different places, where's the hill country, you're liable to find 6 different answers. But anyway, but South Llano River, we had a previous video. We went on and made a second video about it. But it, once again, is one of those parks. When we were there before, it was in the summer.
Yes.
And it was basically full, and it was very full while we were there this time in the fall. And so you will need reservations if you're going to go there. And we do want to just briefly mention here, it's not in Llano. It's in Junction.
Yes.
It's the South Llano River. And so keep that in mind when you're looking at that. But it is a beautiful little park. Junction's a fun little town, and it's just right off of Interstate 10, and so it's conveniently located. And then we also we're calling Meridian and Whitney part of the hill country as well. We have a video about Whitney State Park. We're going to be staying at a Corps of Engineer park. Going to let you have a look at that as well. Meridian State Park is a small state park, but it is so neat.
It's just one of our favorite parks. We've been there 4 times.
And, we actually went to visit a cousin of ours that's just south of Waco. And it's very obvious Waco is plains or prairie. But you hit this one spot where all of a sudden, you've got your hills. And we riding around the park. If you're riding on a bike, you're going to know you're in hill country.
Yes.
But it is a beautiful little park, has a self-contained no-wake lake, and just a lot of fun, and a number of different lodging options there. So the hill country, like we said, we planned on doing it in the fall. It started the first week in October, and we're ending it the first week in January, so we didn't quite make that window, but... it's beautiful.
Holidays and
lots of other stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, we love the hill country area, and these are not the only places in the hill country. If you're looking for lodging in this area, you can look at Corps of Engineer parks. We're going to show you, like, Lake Whitney is huge. There are a number of Corps of Engineer parks on Lake Whitney, as well as the state park. But we have a natural area, a number of state parks, and a Corps of Engineer park to give you kind of some idea of, we've stayed at, but like we said, Waco's not really in the hill country, but Lake Waco has a number of lodging options there. And so, anyway, like we said, the next month and a half, 2 months, you're going to be seeing some videos about Texas Hill Country, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.